Hi folks, Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. This week I've got a very special review because you see I have a mail carrier who comes to my office every day and I interact with this person a couple times a week. And over the years I have found that she's actually kind of a car buff. She always asks about the press cars we have out in the parking lot and wants to know what we think. And recently she said, you know, I really like that Chevrolet Malibu and I've been thinking about getting myself one, and I quote, with all the bells and whistles. And so this week I actually have a 2014 Chevrolet Malibu 2LT, which is a mid-range model between the base and the top model LTZ, so it has plenty of bells and whistles. So this review is dedicated to my mail carrier. The Chevrolet Malibu was all new for 2013, a car which is sold in countries around the globe including Europe, the Middle East, China, and Australia, just to name a few. While it was a ground-up fresh design, Chevrolet has made a number of key changes just 1 year after launch for the 2014 model. On the exterior, this includes a redesigned grille of bold chrome and a larger lower opening framed with a more substantial and stylish trim. The headlamps also received a fresh look which aims to give them a much richer appearance. The side profile remains largely the same as before for this midsize Chevrolet. A look at the rear shows hints of Camaro's double square tail lamp theme, and a lot like the newest cars out there, the exhaust outlets once highlighted by large chrome bling are now hidden in hopes of putting on a more environmentally friendly appearance. Inside, the Malibu has a design and flair which is far less appliance-like than its peers from Japan. The instrument cluster shares a sporting dual square theme again from the Camaro. A large center stack has a vertical appearance with lots of space for its traditional switchgear. Our 2LT trim grade came optioned with the electronics and entertainment package, which is comprised of a 9-speaker Pioneer audio system with touchscreen and navigation. Its sound was good, but not as premium as the $1,175 package price might suggest. I like the ease of use for HVAC and audio controls using the touchscreen and center stack. It has all the same high-tech functionalities as systems like Ford's My Ford Touch, but without the distracting aggravations. The advanced safety package also gave us driver aids like forward collision alert, lane departure warning, blind spot alert, and rear cross traffic alert. We tested each one of these and found them to work as advertised, and best of all, you can turn them off. Chevrolet has made a number of improvements on the interior of the 2014 Malibu. Namely, they've redesigned the center console, and now it's got slots for both the driver and the passenger for smartphones, as well as cup holders that are much easier to use, and they've extended the arm on this armrest so it's a little bit more comfortable. Now, one thing I really like about this, it has this hidden storage area behind the touchscreen audio system. It's pretty slick. It's got a pretty big area back there for storage, and really the only thing that could have made it cooler is if it had a code that you'd use to unlock it. Indeed generous in the Malibu with storage. In addition to the spot behind the touchscreen, there's a second glove box on the driver's side as well as generous space in the center console. Another one of the changes for 2014 is that they redesigned the padding on this rear seat as well as these front seats. And what that's done is it makes this rear seat more comfortable and adds an extra 1¼ inches of knee room up here. And of course, it passes the hat test. Under the hood is a 196 horsepower 2.5-liter Ecotec 4-cylinder engine with variable valve timing and an auto start-stop system. This engine, mated to a standard 6-speed automatic transmission, is rated by the EPA at 25 miles per gallon city and 36 miles per gallon highway. The engine's fuel-saving start-stop system was designed to shut the engine off when you come to a stop in traffic while in gear. When you lift the brake, the engine fires up instantly before you have time to roll into the accelerator. We're going to do a quick demonstration of this auto start-stop system. So I'm rolling up to a stop sign and I'm going to stop, and the engine just shuts off. Now this engine will stay off up to about 2 minutes. If you have your air conditioning or heater on, it'll stay on as long as you don't pass that 2-minute mark, at which point it'll start the engine back up so it doesn't kill the batteries. Now to take off, all I do is lift my foot off the brake, the engine starts right back up again, and I just roll into the throttle and off I go. Now this system actually works in a much more refined way than some of the cars we've tested. That's a good thing. The bad thing is, it doesn't have a switch to turn it off. We achieved in our testing 29 miles per gallon combined highway and city, which is exactly what the window sticker promises. This included a generous balance toward freeway driving and a light foot in city driving. This 2.5 liter engine actually offers a pretty good amount of power, but it can be a little bit buzzy sometimes under acceleration. But sometimes that's what you get. A lot of these new 4-cylinder engines that are dialed up for maximum miles per gallon, they tend to be a little bit noisier, especially with direct injection. That's a trade-off you get when you're getting 29 miles to the gallon average. On the road, the handling of the Malibu is best described as benign. This is to say it's neither sporty in its feel nor lugs-o-barge mushy. It has a taut chassis and steering has a light but direct feel. It can corner with some poise, but don't expect it to reward enthusiastic driving on a tight, windy mountain road. A lot of folks, when they hear the word Malibu, the term rental car comes to mind. And you know, that's probably a fair comparison. After all, over the past couple decades, Malibus have always been kind of this mid-range, mid-grade car that it's like standard issue, and General Motors really didn't put a lot of style or character into it. Not a lot of performance, not a lot of attention to detail. It was just kind of like the flavor of vanilla. But this Malibu actually has a little bit more style. It has an elegance to it also. When you look at it from the outside, it says that they put a little bit more styling, a little bit more engineering, and spent a lot more time sweating the details than ever before. Overall, the Malibu indeed rises to a level of refinement and value that tops some competitors we've tested, both from American brands as well as some Japanese. Its flavor remains distinctly American, however, which means some buyers may still perceive it as a rental car, whether that's a fair assessment or not. Well, that wraps up our test for the 2014 Chevrolet Malibu. The only areas this week that I really found to scratch my head over was the auto start system that doesn't have an off switch. A lot of people might not like that system, even though it does work well. An off switch is a must. Also, the engine can be a little bit buzzy under acceleration, but again, as I said, these days, that's just kind of one of the trade-offs for an engine that gets high gas mileage. And one of the good points about this car is this top-end MyLink infotainment system with the touchscreen is much easier to use and much less frustrating, let alone much more safe behind the wheel than, say, the My Ford Touch found in the Ford Fusion, the biggest competitor to this car. So this week, we give it 4 out of 5 stars. I'm Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. I hope you enjoyed the ride. For a more in-depth review and photo gallery, see our report on gasmiler.com.